Olivia. Welcome to our Thursday class. You want to grab a little bit of height, maybe a pillow or a blanket or a block. We're going to start on the knees. So if you like to sit flat on your knees and have a seat like that, if you want to add a little bit of height, maybe grabbing a pillow or a bolster, just so we can start waking up our quads while stacking our spine nice and tall. Maybe you want to roll those shoulders a couple times, wiggle it out. Let the hands rest on your lap. And then look softly at the floor, or maybe those eyes shut, as we take a few moments to arrive at our practice. Bringing the focus to where your body is connecting with the mat. Noticing the texture of that space. And allow that connection point of your body to really connect and spread out on the ground. Let your body root down, feeling connected and supported. And from that space, allow your spine to grow nice and tall, up toward the ceiling, just like a plant, with those vertebrae stack. Allow your neck and head to rest on top into that tall seat. And starting at the top of your head, slowly walk down through your body, checking in to see how you feel. Are there any sources of tension or stiffness? Do you notice any itchiness or real desire to get moving? Do you notice any muscle fatigue or injury healing? Checking in with that slow scan so you know where we're starting today. You know where you are starting in your practice. Your first step to practicing safely and looking after your body. And once you've made note of those little messages, bringing your focus to your breath. Where do you feel that rise and fall sensation? And some days it's easier to feel than others. If you're not noticing the rise and fall, you are still breathing. And then begin to lengthen your inhale and slow down your exhale. And noticing how deepening and lengthening that breath. Notice how that sensation then changes in your body. Perhaps you feel your ribs expand a bit more. Maybe you feel that breath in your belly or your back. And these big, beautiful breaths bring us more oxygen. They begin to allow our mind and our body to connect with each other. And it's just a way of bringing mindfulness into your day. That state of awareness by focusing on the present. On your next exhale, you can drop your left ear to your left shoulder. Reach it over. Allow your left elbow and left hand to be heavy, creating some space. And perhaps you want to reach out with that right arm in the opposite direction, reaching those fingertips toward the floor, opening up the side of the neck. Might feel really good after a morning at the computer looking straight ahead. Exhaling that hand back to center. And bringing the head over, right ear to right shoulder. Letting the right elbow get heavy, arm get heavy. Opening up that space. Maybe reaching out to the side of the left hand. Reaching those fingers down. Noticing how your neck feels on this other side. Releasing that morning work from the computer. Exhale your hand back to your lap and your head up to center. Perhaps you want to let those eyes open. And we're going to reach those hands down to the ground, pick up all that wonderful energy and scoop it all the way up on top of you. Let the nice energy drape all over you. Bring the palms together. And we're going to bring the palms behind the head, keeping those elbows high. Maybe you want to bring the elbows closer into the head. And if this feels a little too pinchy, if you don't like how this feels, you can separate your hands and just reach for the back of your shoulders. You decide which one of those variations works for you today in our reverse prayer hands. And perhaps you want to look up, stretching the neck at the same time. With a long exhale, you can release that. Bring your head back to center, scooping the hands down. And then we'll reach behind the back, perhaps grabbing your forearms, maybe walking in towards the elbows. And depending on your body structure, maybe you want to try reverse prayer down here. So that would be bringing the hands together. They point to the ground, but then you walk them towards your body and up. And this can be a little awkward. You can see my palms don't go together. So grabbing forearms, grabbing elbows, or trying reverse prayer. Those are all options here. And maybe you want to bring that chin towards your chest, opening up the back of the neck as well. Feeling that breath as it moves through. Letting our breath be our anchor in this present moment. Releasing those arms, bringing that head back up to center. Maybe you want to roll those shoulders back a few times. And the other way. Moving forward, great big circles. And then finding your tabletop. Spreading those fingers out. Feeling the palms weighted down. Let's make some circles around those palms. Feeling the weight roll around the circle of your palm. This allows us to check in with those wrists, see how they're feeling today. You can go the other way. Also lets us begin to move our bodies, wake ourselves up from sitting in front of the computer screens, remind our body we can move. Pausing in tabletop. Maybe moving your knees a little bit closer. We're going to press into the knuckles that connect the fingers and raise our palms up into wrist push-ups. And you can try 3 to 5 of these. It just helps us wake up the wrists and begin building strength in our wrists. So if we fall and need to catch ourselves, or you want to learn some arm balances in the future, just have that wrist strength going on. Returning back to tabletop. Bring your left hand in the middle, and let's sweep up with the right arm, coming into an upper spine twist, reaching high. As you exhale, sweep that hand down underneath your body. We're threading the needle, so reaching that hand over, lowering our shoulder and our head. And today, maybe you want to leave the top hand here, or reach it behind the small of your back. Yogi's choice. Reconnecting with that deep inhale, long exhale, using your breath to feel that present moment. Let's reach that top hand back down, press into the ground, and wind your needle and reach up, opening up that upper back, coming back to tabletop. This time we'll place the right hand in the middle of the floor. Inhale and sweep up the left arm. Exhale, thread your needle, reaching under your body, sliding your hand over. Setting your shoulder and your neck down. Option to keep the hand on the ground or reach that arm around the back. Reconnecting with that deep inhale. Long exhale. So begin to unwind the back, the shoulder. And then bringing that hand back around, pressing into the ground. Let's sweep on up nice and high. Bring that hand back down to tabletop. Into a few cat-cows. You can drop the belly, raise the sit bones. Collarbones broad, raise the head. Embrace your inner cow with that udder belly. And then on an exhale, push the ground away. Begin to arch the back like a cat. Move your pelvis forward. Release the head and neck and embrace that inner black cat. And then moving between the two to your own pace. Cat and cow. Reminding our spine how it can wave. How all those little vertebrae work together to move the spine. And then returning to tabletop, tucking your toes and finding your first down dog. So those knees can be bent. Maybe you want to straighten one at a time and then the other. How do your calf muscles feel today? Your thigh muscles. What kind of sensations are happening in those legs right now? And then if you move into stillness, perhaps those knees are still bent. And you feel your fingertips clawing at the mat as your arms push away, allowing your hips to come high. Allow your heels to be weighted toward the ground. Where do you feel this pose in your body? Where is it stretching you? Where is it challenging and building your strength? Just notice that. Then your gaze can come forward, and as you exhale, let's move to the front of the mat into a forward fold. So knees can be bent, belly meets thighs. Relax the head. Maybe you want to grab your elbows and sway a little bit side to side. And if forward fold is not good for your back, maybe you want to hang out in a half lift, really extending that back straight. Wherever you are, feeling that deep inhale, long exhale, and then pushing into the floor with the feet. Let's sweep the arms forward or to the sides, whatever you have room for. As you come on up to a nice tall stand, reach tall like you need it. Bring those hands through heart center and beside your body, standing tall. Let's get ready to do a few half sun salutations. So exhaling all the air, inhaling deep, exhaling long. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, bend the knees and forward fold. Really reach with the back, coming all the way down. Inhale, half lift. Extending the back, belly button, spine for the core. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, sweep to rise. Exhale, hands through heart center. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep to rise. Exhale through heart center. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands, step back, right foot. And we're gonna drop that knee into a low lunge. Finding your balance. And bringing those arms up overhead. Let's return back to those reverse prayer arms. So bring the palms together and reaching those arms behind your back. Remember, you can also reach for the shoulder blades if that feels better for your body. Feel the connection in your feet as you feel these reverse prayer hands. And then from here, we're gonna tuck this back toe, begin to really push into the front foot, and we're gonna raise ourselves up into a high lunge while sweeping the hands forward and back as we lean forward into a rocket lunge. So here our belly button is coming toward our spine, engaged core, really reaching those arms back as we fire up those legs in a rocket lunge. And then reversing that motion, so dropping the back knee, sweeping the hands forward and up to reverse prayer. So we're gonna practice flowing with the breath if you choose. If you want, you can do one movement per breath. So you're gonna inhale in reverse prayer. Exhale as you move to rocket lunge. Inhale to reverse prayer. Exhale to rocket lunge. And keep moving to your own breath. That is a lot of strength and a lot of balance at the same time. So if you only want to do just the arms and the body and keep the leg on the ground all the time, that's an option. You can also put your hands on the ground and just focus on the back leg. So a few different options there. One movement, one breath. And after your next cycle, we're all gonna meet in a rocket lunge. Bring those hands down by the foot, really feel the back foot connect to the ground. And we're gonna step back to our version of plank from the toes or the knees. Belly button to spine. Exhale and slowly lower all the way to the ground. Taking a moment here to catch the breath. Widen the feet. And then push into your hands to raise your chest and your head. Gaze stays at the ground into baby cobra. Having those arms tucking beside your body. Feeling this back bend. Coming down on an exhale. Tucking those back toes, feeling your knees. Let's press up to plank on the knees. Finding your down dog. Just for a moment here. And then we're gonna look forward and step the right foot forward through to the hands. Taking as many steps as you need to find that lunge. Drop the back knee. Find your low lunge. And we're gonna try that same sequence on the other side. So let's raise those arms up. Bring the palms together. Drop them back and find those reverse prayer arms. Tugging those elbows in. Noticing how that feels. And then we're gonna tuck the back toe and then sweep those hands up and back as we push our knee up and angle our body into rocket lunge. So belly button into spine, reaching forward, making this long diagonal line. And then exhale, come back to reverse prayer lunge. We're gonna move one movement, one breath. It can be the whole thing or just the arms, just the leg. You pick your choice. So inhale here. Exhale, rocket lunge. Inhale, reverse prayer. Exhale, rocket lunge. Keep moving a few more rounds to your own breath. Allow that breath to move your body. Let it be your guide. Let it help you anchor in the present moment, feeling the breath and the body movement at the same time. after your next cycle, we'll meet in rocket lunge. Bring those arms down to the ground. Really feel the hands connect and step back to your version of plank from the toes or the knees. Belly button to spine, squeeze those glutes. Let's slowly lower all the way down to the mat. Take a few moments to catch the breath. And when you're ready, press your hands into the ground to lift the chest and the head. Gaze stays down the mat. Tuck those arms in. Maybe squeeze your glutes as you back bend here. How does that change the sensation? And exhale, come all the way down. Tuck the toes, feel the knees. Press on up to plank on the knees, finding your down dog. And however you choose, we're gonna move to the front of the mat into a forward fold. Half lifted forward fold does not work for you today. And then sweep to rise, reaching tall. Exhale, hands through heart center. By your side. Close those eyes. And just notice what you feel in your body. Is there any little areas that are feeling that movement, fire? Any areas that feel a little shaky from strength building? Or maybe openness from being stretched? Right now, in this present moment, what sensations are there? And you can open those eyes. Really feel your feet connect with the ground when you lift the toes, set them down. Can you feel your big toe, pinky toe, and heel all anchor down? We're moving over onto the left foot, picking up the right foot. We're gonna cross the right foot above the knee. So we're making this bigger floor shape. And maybe you wanna flex your right foot. Option to stay here in a balance. Or to try a one-footed chair. So you can sweep those hands up as you sit back into an invisible chair. It's almost like a chair with a TV tray or something with that leg. Belly button to spine. Notice how this feels. It's balancing, it's stretching your glute muscle at your hips. Maybe you want to bring those hands to heart center, see how that feels. And you have an option to stay here, or maybe you want to begin to forward fold in this chair. Play around with that, notice how it feels. And then we're going to release that leg to the ground. Continue stepping to the back of the mat and pivoting that back foot, bending the front knee and finding your warrior two. I'm going to go to the other side of the mat so you can see me. So if you've got a little lost, warrior two, you're standing up, your front knee is bent. You're actively reaching those fingers long, working the arms here and the legs. And if you focus on your feet, can you make the weight evenly distributed between both the front foot and the back foot? So if you're really feeling the front leg, can you let that back leg help you out? Dropping the right forearm to your thigh, pushing away. Bring this top hand over, and we're making a diagonal line, pushing that back foot into the ground, coming all the way up that leg, reaching the torso long, reaching the arm long to a nice diagonal line. Checking in with that breath. Can you make it deep and long? An option to drop this top arm behind the back, just like we may have done earlier. Maybe you want to see if you can walk those fingers around the thigh into that pocket. You don't have to do that. Just options that are there for everybody. Our shoulder bones and muscles are very different body to body. And then let's release that arm, bring it out, push into the front foot, and find your warrior two. And then push up to standing. Whew. Turn those toes to the side so you're facing the side of your mat. Reach those arms behind you. Grab the fingers or interlace the knuckles, standing tall. Belly button to spine. And then begin to forward fold all the way down. Forward folds aren't working for you. Belly button to spine, extend the spine. And then wherever you are, reaching those arms away from the body to stretch the shoulders and the arms. Inhaling deep. Exhaling long. Then release those arms, bringing them down under your shoulders, tenting your fingers and pushing up to a halfway lift. Bringing your left hand into the middle, and we're going to sweep up with the right. Opening the upper spine, again, very similar to what we did in tabletop earlier. And as you exhale, bring down the right hand, plop it on the ground, and lift up the left, opening up to the other side. Exhale, bring that left hand down. Then inhale, bring up the right. Using your breath, continue that twisting movement. Maybe seeing how slow you can make the breath and the movement. See how that feels today. Letting the breath help anchor you into this present moment in your body, in your mind. And after your next cycle, we'll take those hands down. Begin to bend your left knee and move over towards your left knee into a half squat. Walk those hands closer to you. Your right heel spins so your toes are pointing up to the ground. So you're kind of in a martial artsy kind of space. You could be balancing on the toe, or if you have flexibility that I don't, your whole foot might be down. But you can use your hands to help you balance here. Maybe you want to try and bring those hands to heart center. And if you wobble, if you're playing around with it, if you're not sure if you got it, as long as you feel safe, feel free to play with that. So notice how the balance changes as you balance there. And then bring the hands back down to the ground. We're going to spin that right foot to the ground, walk yourselves over to the other side. So the right knee bends, you come into that half squat. You pivot the four heels so your toes come up. You can tent the fingers to help you stay. Maybe you want to play with hands at heart center. Exploring this movement. Checking in with that breath. Remembering that all of these poses feel super comfortable. They feel safe, they feel pain-free, but they still might feel a little uncomfortable. I find this one a little bit of a increased range of motion for me. And then bringing those hands back to the ground, let's walk back to center. We're gonna take this foot at the back of the mat, turn the toes so they're facing the back of the mat. Finding a low lunge on this side. We are facing the back of the mat. That might feel really strange, but it is okay. Feel that front foot really connect with the ground and take a giant step to the back of the mat into a forward fold. Push into your feet and rise, reaching high. Exhale, hands through heart center. Reaching those arms by your sides, standing tall. And take a moment to notice how you feel. Perhaps that is noticing the sensation in your body, but perhaps that's also the weirdness of being at the back of your mat. That feels different. Just be aware of that. What is simply is. Facing the back of the mat feels different. Now we're going to do the same thing going backwards. So let the left foot, the right foot get heavy and the left foot gets light. And let's cross that leg into that forward fold. We're going the opposite way, second side. Option to stay here or to swing those arms, sit the seat back and find your one-legged chair. You can always hold onto a wall or a chair for balance as you explore this new place. Finding that breath. And then if you want to explore how this feels in a forward fold, if you wobble, if you fall out, just explore that, come back in. Yoga is not always easy, and that is part of what we want. We want to be challenged. We want to see how we deal with these challenges. And then slowly release that foot from the leg and begin to step that left foot all the way back, finding your warrior two. Switch to your warrior on the other side. I'm just going to turn around so I'm not talking to my wall. But we're doing our second side here. Bending the front knee, reaching those arms long. This pose can really work the arms. And then check in with, can that back foot do as much work as the front foot? Can you balance that out? Take that right arm, bring it down to the right thigh. Push yourself away and sweep that left arm up and over, making that diagonal line. Right from the left foot, pushing into the ground, strong legs, strong torso, reaching away with the shoulders, reaching with those fingertips. And then if you like, you can drop that top hand behind the back. Maybe having those fingers reach for the top of the thigh as you open the chest, exploring a half bind. I gotta remember where we're going. Release that arm, let it reach out, push into the top leg, and let's come back up to warrior two. Straighten that front leg. Turn that top foot sideways so you're facing the front of the mat. We're gonna reach behind us with those arms. Opposite fingers this time. And then forward fold. Reaching those arms away from the body. So they don't have to go far, they're just moving away from the body, maybe squeezing those shoulder blades together as you do that. Then we're going to release the arms down to the ground. And we're going to begin to bend the left knee, moving to the left side. Spinning that right foot up so the toes are up at the ceiling. We're going to find this side squat. I do realize we're not doing the twist again, and that's because of time, but because those twists go both ways, we're covered there. We've done them on both sides. I just want to spend a little bit more time exploring this half squat because it's pretty new to our practice. We tried it last week for the first time. I want us to get a little more familiar with it. And then bring the hands down to the mat. Let's walk yourself over to the right side, bending that other knee. Spinning the heel on the straight leg, toes to the ceiling. Feel those hands tent to help you with the balance. Maybe you want to bring those hands to heart center. Next week, we're going to add on to this. But for right now, in the present moment, notice where you feel the stretch. Where do you feel the strength building? And are there any emotions around that? Label the emotion. What is simply is, not good or bad. And then let's bring those hands back down to the mat, walk back to center. Bringing those hands to the hips, maybe slightly bending the knees, belly button to spine, And let's stand all the way up to straight. Pivoting the right foot toward the front. And taking a big step or a bunch of little steps to the front of the mat. Taking a moment to stand tall. Notice where you feel this in your body. And we're going to walk those feet wide, toes off the mat, heels in. Sweep those arms up and out. And then we're slowly going to come down to a full squat. So you can widen your stance even more as we drop those sit bones down. Nice straight spine. Whew. Fell over backwards there. So push into your feet, almost like you want to rise up. Belly button to spine. Find that breath. Inhale deep. Exhale long. And then bring your hands down to the mat. And we're going to come on to our knees, but up high on the knees. And those knees are going to be slightly wider than our hips for balance. Feel free to put a blanket under your knees, or sometimes it can be nice to fold your blanket or your mat like this if you want a little extra support for the knees. We've opened up our shoulders with those half binds. So we're going to reach those hands behind us and slip our hands into our jean pockets. Think about bringing those elbows closer together, thinking about bringing the shoulder blades together. Now with your hands on your invisible jean pockets, squeeze your glute muscles and allow those glute muscles to squeeze together and push your hips forward. Now perhaps with the hips forward, the glute muscles squeeze, you're going to begin to lean back just a little bit. Keep squeezing the glute muscles, bringing the hips forward, squeezing the shoulder blades forward, finding your breath. And then on an exhale, push into the knees, come up, nice and tall, and sit back on your knees, on that block, on the pillow. That was a camel prep pose. We're gonna do that again with the option of going into camel. It's only an option. You get to choose what's right for you today. And at any time, you can also take child's pose, shavasana, take a little rest on your mat. I just encourage you to stay on your mat. Even though I know it's so easy sometimes to get off the mat at home. Stay on the mat, feel your breath. And we're gonna rise up on those knees again. Belly button to spine. Sweep those hands behind us into those invisible jean pockets. Bring those shoulder blades together, the elbows move closer together. Feel your butt muscles squeeze and push those hips forward. Nice proud chest as you begin to lean back. Option to stay here, option to reach down with the right hand and see if you want to grab the heel. Maybe release the left hand if that feels good. Keep pushing the hips forward. Nice, proud chest. Shoulder blades come together. Wherever you are, feel that inhale. And exhale. And then maybe you want to bring the right hand back to the jean pocket. Left hand to the jean pocket as you push into the knees. Sweep yourself up. Sit back down. Nice tall spine. Take a moment to feel the breath. Sometimes in back bends, it's easy to hold the breath. So right now, just observe what's the depth of your breath. The rate of your breath. If you focus on your nostrils, can you feel the temperature of the inhale? And the temperature of the exhale. Take this moment and be curious about your breath. then we're going to bring those knees wide, toes together. We're coming into child's pose. And if your sit bones come into the air, you're welcome to put a cushion on top of your heels, between your heels and your butt. And then we're going to walk those arms nice and long and mount the head to the ground. And if your forehead is dangling, you can also stack your palms and rest your forehead on the palms. So whichever variation of child's pose you are in, just take a moment to walk those fingers long. Sit bones come closer to your heels or the prop, and just to stretch out your back. And then press your palms into the ground with the chest and the head. And we're going to walk those hands over to the left side of the mat. They might even come off the mat. And then bring your head back down. Again, you can always stack those palms and let the head rest. Child's pose with a twist. I inhale, I'm aware of my body. I exhale, I calm my body. Maybe you want to say that in your head. I use that phrase a lot in my yoga classes. I really like that mantra because it reminds me of what my breath can do. A nice long breath, especially that exhale, can just bring a sense of calm, a sense of stillness. Sometimes it takes a few longer breaths, but that stillness will come. Pressing your hands into the mat, raising your chest and your head, and walking those hands across center over to the right side. And then melting back down into a side bend child's pose, equaling out the body. I inhale, I'm aware of my body. I exhale, I calm my body. And just notice what that long release of an exhale, what kind of effect that has on you today. Is the stillness and the calm coming quicker, or is it slower to arrive? Neither one is better than the other. Just observing how that breath is influencing you today. So walk those hands back to center, reaching long, and then walk those hands back toward the body. We're going to come onto our sit bones and cross those legs. Sitting nice and tall. And then begin to turn towards your left. Bringing your right hand onto your left knee and your left hand behind your spine, tensing the fingers so that you can sit up nice and tall. Maybe your gaze comes toward that back shoulder. And that hand can just place on the knee, or maybe you want to reach the back of the hand. And try and have the turn come as much as you can from your core strength. So rather than pushing yourself into position, can you guide yourself there? Even if it's not as deep, can you just hold it without that force? So if you released your hands from the ground in your body, is there a twist position that you can stay in? And then slowly come back to center. Take a moment to notice how that feels in your back. And then begin to move your left hand to your right knee Right hand comes behind you to tent the fingers, straighten your back, and then begin to twist, bringing that gaze towards the shoulder. And then checking in to see, are you forcing the twist, or can you release the hand from the ground of your knee and can you stay? And if you can't stay as deep, that is okay, because you're developing core strength all by yourself here. Notice how that feels. And then coming back to center, hands on your legs, sitting nice and tall, let that spine stack. Maybe you want to flip those hands over on your knees so your palms are facing up. And then take a moment to observe your body. Does it feel like you're leaning forward, leaning back? Can you be curious about that? And without opening your eyes or finding a mirror, trust in your judgment and see if you can find a nice tall seat where you feel the weight in your tailbone. You feel your spine going toward the ceiling, where your neck and head can rest on top. And all together, we're going to release and exhale through the mouth. Let go of all that air. Inhale deep and long through the nose, letting your belly grow. And exhale long through the mouth. And just taking a moment to scan your body. Maybe we'll do a scan together. So if we move the awareness to the top of the head, and then notice behind your eyes. What does it feel like there? And your temples. Checking in with your jaw. Can you move that jaw side to side, or maybe separate the jaw a little bit and release a little bit of tension that may be there. Moving down to the neck. Checking in with the shoulders. Can you release them down? Let them feel weighted. Checking in with the torso and the belly. Can you just release it? Just let it be. Observe how your hips and your tailbone and that whole pelvic area is supporting you in this seat. And observing the legs that bend in the knees. The sensation of the ankles and the feet as they are beneath you. And noticing the support and the texture of the ground. Bringing those hands to heart center. Tucking the chin into the chest. Exhaling your air through your mouth. Take a deep, long inhale through the nose. Release through the mouth nice and long. Letting today's noon hour practice go. And slowly allowing yourself to arrive back in your day. Thank you for joining me this Thursday. My name is Sarah. Feel free to send questions and comments about class 2 of the wellness. Check out all of our classes on YouTube and on our weekly schedule, and I will see you next time.